Hi everybody, welcome back to the channel. It's been a while. The reason I'm making this video is because I got a new piece of equipment and I was looking around the YouTube, searching Google for any way to how to get this hooked up to my computer and figure out how to make it work. Let me show you how I did that. Alright, first of all, this is going to be fun because I'm redoing this because something happened to the microphone that was on the camera and it did not work right. So starting over again from the beginning. Okay, this one, hopefully the microphone works on this camera. Alright, so what we got? We have the audio device, and it's not turned on right now. There's no lights. And when I do, I've got a USB cord, and both ends are USB-A. Plug it into the computer on one side, and the USB-A on the other side plugs into the device. Make sure you get it in the right way. Alright, and as soon as you plug it in, you'll see that things start lighting up. You get a power light, and in the display, which you can't see on the camera, is it saying PC. Now, normally what you want to start with is make sure the main faders are all the way down. Make sure all the other faders are all the way down. And go ahead and turn the power on. Now, for the microphone that I'm going to be using, it takes a 48 volt phantom power, and that's what this button is. So we'll turn phantom power on. And I know they're not easy to see, but we have a gain control, high, medium, and low for the mixer. We have an aux, an effects, which I have turned off. All the settings for the aux I want off. And then the pan, right now I'm having it in the center because we're going to be using stereo both sides. Alright. And then part of this, now that this is almost set up, what we're going to do is we're coming back over to the computer. I also have a PreSonus Audio Box USB 96, and what that is doing is it's taking, again, it's hooked up by USB cable to the speakers, which up there are turned on. Now, normally, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the speaker volume all the way off. The reason you do that is because with any sound coming out of the speakers, while the microphone is turned on, you're going to get feedback and it's going to start echoing. Now, so you can hear, you want to have a set of headphones, which I have plugged into the headphones of the mixer. The reason I have that is because going through the PreSonus, there's a lot of delay. Alright, so I've got my headphones on. As you see, I'm ready to rock and roll record. I'm going back. So now, first thing you need to do is, depending on your computer, you want to set your audio inputs and outputs for the computer. So you go to settings and sound. Now, each version of Windows is going to be different. So don't worry too much about it. Now, because I've got my speakers going through the PreSonus audio box USB 96, I'm going to leave that there. If you want, and you don't have a second audio device, you can leave it on. You can do the speakers, which this device is called the J-Lee BR21. Yours may be different, probably will be, or you can use the computer system speaker output. I've had problems with those actually working, so right now I just leave it at that. Now, one reason I do that is, again, with the speakers, if you're going back to the J-Lee, it's hard to control. To turn, basically, you would have to just turn off the speakers at the speakers, because the USB connection works two directions, and it will. In order for this to work, for the microphone, you have to have the faders up. You have to have gain set, and then you have to have the fader turned up on for the microphone. And I don't know if you can see it, but there's now, if you're looking at the green lights, you'll see that it is indicating that the microphone is working and it is receiving a signal. Now, this microphone is pretty good, so it picks up audio at a pretty good level. Now, as for the microphone, you want to go ahead and make sure that the microphone is the J-Lee BR21, or it's not going to work. If you use another device, you would have to plug it into that. So that kind of defeats the mixer. Alright, so once you have that set, you can close that. And then open up your DAW. And I'm using Reaper. And we're going to start a new project. And OK. And since I haven't paid for it yet, it's going to give me the reminder that this is not free. I'm still evaluating. Alright, the first task you need to do is go into the options for your DAW, and normally you would have it on ASIO. Just if I can get you a picture of that. ASIO is the normal driver for something like the PreSonus. That will not work for the 8-channel mixer. So what you have to do is go set it back to direct sound. With direct sound, you can set your microphone to the J-Lee BR21, and your output speakers, this one has it set to the J-Lee, which would let it go to the new audio device. Since I'm going to be listening to it on the PreSonus, I can go ahead and set the speakers output to the PreSonus. Now, make sure while you're recording that your speaker volume is all the way off. You can hear what you're doing through the headphones. Alright, and then we hit OK. Now, we can go to set a new track, turn it on, and as you can see, I've already got it set to input 1, but we want it in stereo, so we can select the stereo. Now we've got 2 tracks going, and I can pan left or right on the device, pan left, and I'll only get a sound on the left side, pan right, and I'll only get sound on the right side. Okay, now, or you can do that with the mono too. Alright, so now I've got it set. You can see my levels are pretty good. I could probably turn it up a little bit more. Turn it up until you get some good sound right there. And then you see how high that is. I could turn those up, but better off keep them low. I could also turn up the gain, and that'll pick up a lot more. Now, if you pick up that much, I don't know if you'll be able to hear it, but I have the air conditioner running. You'll be picking up all that background noise. But let's go ahead and record. And record. As you can see, it is recording 2 tracks. And we're just going to play around with it a little bit and show you what it does. Now you can use the fader on your DAW to turn it up and down, but you won't get a whole lot. So you're going to have to come over here to this. If you want to turn it down, you can turn it down here, and as you can see, it's cut off the volume to this microphone. Turning it back up, and there we have the sound again. Alright, so now we're going to stop, and we want to play it back. What we need to do is turn off the microphone, turn the volume back up on the speakers, and I'm going to take my headset off so I can hear, and play. As you can see, it is recording 2 tracks. And we're just going to play around with it a little bit and show you what it does. Now you can use the fader on your DAW to turn it up and down, but you won't get a whole lot. So you're going to have to come over here to this if you want to turn it down. Okay, now you see it does work. I could, like I said, set it to, I don't want to change the wiring around right now, but you can set it back to the send your audio out back to the mixer, but it's a little bit harder to control. You've got to just, if you have any output speakers going, you just have to turn the volume all the way down on the speakers, because in order to record with, you have to have the master control up to a good recording level. And if that is set at that level, as you're doing recording and it's going back to the unit, it's going to continue to send it out through the speakers. So what you're going to get is you're going to get an echo. You're going to say it, it's going to repeat it, and it comes out the microphone's out the speakers, and then the microphone is going to pick it back up. It's going to go back to the unit, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And if it's got any kind of audio boosting, it's going to get louder and louder and faster. So that's the way to do it. You've got to make sure you turn off the volume to the speakers while you are recording, and then turn off this microphone while you're doing playback. An alternative way of doing it, if you have another device like this that you're upgrading from, is to use the audio outputs into the audio box, but you wind up getting a delay on the microphone, and it does. Try listening to yourself and recording and hearing a slight delay. You tend to stop talking. A lot of people who use telephones, tech support, know that feeling when you start talking and you start hearing yourself about a split second later. It just throws you way off. Okay? And that's about it. If you have any questions, please feel free to put something in the comments. And if you learn something here that's going to help you out, please hit the like and the subscribe buttons for me, okay? All right, and you all have a good day, and thanks for watching.